Why are parents always like this?
Ugh, why do parents have to be like this?
What's up with teens?
Why are teens like this?
Are you navigating the wild, wonderful world of parenting a teenager? It can be exciting, right? Right?
But fear not, we are here to help you turn those "what do I do now" moments into "I've got this" victories.
From the eye rolls to the unexpected heart-to-heart talks, raising a teen is full of challenges and incredible rewards.
So whether you're dealing with the mystery of teenage moods, the homework battles, or just trying to keep the lines of communication open, we've got tips, stories, and expert advice to guide you every step of the way.
Yes, experts, we have Kimberly, and most importantly, we are also parenting teens.
I have 20 plus years experience. Through the years, I've had many jobs, all of which consisted of helping others in one way or another. I've worked as a cosmetologist, in-home aide, pharmacy technician, and so on. It was during my job as a pharmacy technician that I started learning about mental health and medication management. It was that experience that inspired me to get my Master's of Education in Counseling and Human Development with a specialty in substance abuse. And from that point, I worked as a mental health therapist. I worked inpatient, outpatient, and in intensive in-home therapy. Doing this kind of work has been rewarding, and I would like to pass along information, experiences, and tools that I have learned along the way. And I am excited to learn new things with all of you as I continue to grow as a person, mother, and mental health educator.
My son just turned 13 and I'm terrified. So I reached out to Kim, who's also a mom to a 13-year-old, and I was like, do you know what the hell you're doing? And she was like, no. And I was like, me too. And we were like, you know what? We should start something. And this is the series called Parenting a Teen. I am Cecilia and
I'm Kim, and we are excited to share this journey with you. So let's figure this out together.
Whether you're a seasoned parent or just stepping into the teen years, this series is designed to offer support, share insights, and build a community where you can learn and grow.
We will give you valuable information and we will make this fun. So today we will share our journey and what motivated us to start this series.
We will also talk about setting boundaries, dealing with peer pressure, building self-esteem, and so much more. Our goal is to provide practical advice, share personal stories, and hear from you, because parenting is a journey best traveled together.
On the fun part, we will share trending videos and memes on parenting.
And finally, we will share our parenting win, hack, or fail, and it might just be something you needed, so stick around.
Welcome to today's episode of Parenting a Teen. I am Cecilia and this is
Kimberly.
And today we are going to share our personal stories, and also we are going to share the motivation behind starting these YouTube episodes. And to add fun into this, we are also going to look at Reddit questions and respond to them. We are going to share our take on trending video, and also we are going to share our personal parenting win, hack, or fail. So stick till the end of this video. And now, Kim, let's start with you. What's your story?
Well, I've been working with people for over 20 years. So my story, my journey starts back when I was a cosmetologist And, many of us who go and get our hair done, we sit in the chair, and most of the time we start talking. And two of the things that my clients most talked about was their job and their family. So, and they would sit there and they would either vent about, the frustrations of what was going on, or they utilized that time to verbally process something that was bothering them within those realms. And being in that industry and listening and seeing how much better people walked out, not just getting their hair done, but feeling better about whatever's weighing them down, made me decide, I'm going to go on and get my master's degree in counseling and human development, because I want to do more. I didn't want to just give advice, but I want to give advice or help in a positive way. And so that led me to doing that. And I've worked outpatient, inpatient. I've worked intensive in-home therapy, which is what I was doing before I moved to where I'm at now. And the thing that I noticed when I was working, that there was just a lack of education and resources and tools for your mental health well-being. It was very limited. You went and you saw a therapist. I was a therapist, and then you kind of go out on your own. And I just want to be able to fill that gap between therapy session and coming home. And also, I by default became a single parent when my son's father passed away in 2021. So that was a whole new ballgame for me. I went from, having a partner in crime to parent with to now I'm a single mom. So I wanted to just create this place that we could come and talk and fill things out and talk about the ups and the downs of what it means to parent.
Yeah, I love that. I think I love the fact that you moving from cosmetology, to say cosmetology, to doing a degree in counseling. I mean, wow, that's amazing. I love
Thank
that.
you.
So, before we go to my story, there's a question we need to answer on Reddit. Let me share it. The screen. So I'm going to read this question out loud. It's a question on Reddit by a parent. Hi, Brains Trust. I want to get some advice about teenagers. I have two, and we are struggling to navigate this new phase without causing arguments. What age did your teenagers start going out and have a social life? We are finding if they can ask to go, we are finding they ask if they can go, ask for money and are leave, and they are off. Emptiness. They don't seem to enjoy being with us anymore. If we say no to no, it dissolves into arguments and a really miserable home. Even I want to leave. We are just here to provide food, money, and transportation. Wow. I get it. I was once a teenager. I got into arguments about spending time with family, chores, homework, etc. History is repeating itself. My mom would be so pleased I am finally understanding her struggle. I am trying my best not to make home feel toxic for them, but my husband is making it really difficult. I worried they will get to the they'll get to the stage that they don't want to come home because home is angry and miserable. I want home to be their safe haven, but it's full of arguments and moods, and it's just between my husband and me. And that's just between my husband and me about how to deal with it. I feel it's part of the growing process, but he is hurt by it. The more he acts up, I don't know if she means acts up, the more he pushes them away. I always thought this would be the time my husband and I would have to reconnect, date nights, etc. But no, any tips on navigating this time? Damn, that's heavy.
I mean,
Um,
my first question would be,
mhm.
or my first statement would be, before the even talking about the children, is that the parents have to. It is very important that the parents are both on the same page. Because if you're not a united front, then nothing else is going to follow it. And I think that's the first struggle I'm hearing and what you read and what the person is saying. So that would be the first thing, is to have these important discussions with your husband without the children around. And, you know, there has to be some bit of a compromise between the two of you. It can't just be all one or the other. And that's where I would say my first advice would go, is the parents need to come together.
Mm. Yeah, okay. I think the other thing that I got from that was, I mean, one point she says that when the husband acts up, the children, push them away even more. And to me was more of like, I don't know, Kim, if you remember the aspect of emotional intelligence, where we don't, the situation that, or the circumstances do not necessarily, make us react in a like reactively, like, we are reacting to circumstances. Even the children can see that this one is reacting. um, so how, there's also the aspect, how can someone be calm? There are those situations where you want to argue and fight, but then I'm looking for, how can you not show this anger or this frustration? Because at the end of the day, the children, the teenagers will feed off it. They'll be like, I've gotten mad, so now we can do whatever we want to go and do, without, facing those issues that are going on. So I think the aspect of emotional intelligence also needs to be at there, like where we can handle our emotions in front of teenagers, where we're like, you know what, 3, 2, 1, or 1 to 10. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. There's no arguing that's going to go on here. What I've said, I'm in a slow, in a very careful, not in a slow, and you're not shouting. The moment you start shouting, the moment you are angry, the moment you show your frustration, you've lost. So there's a lot of arguing here. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of, I feel like there's also even a lot of not feeling appreciated. So I think there's that aspect that needs to be worked on.
Well, it's like you
Parental.
said in there, that there has to be the pushback from the children is because boundaries are being asserted. And so anytime new boundaries are being established, you're going to get pushed back. So
Yeah.
understand that. So if this is the issue that you're having within your family, then you know that this topic is going to come up. So I would say after talking with your significant other and being on the same page, becoming united, that you then have a mantra that is pre-made up and set in your head. So when the children come and make these requests, and you say no, or say this time it's a no for whatever reason, you simply say this mantra or whatever, that pre-made statement in your head, and that's it, period, end of sentence. You don't have to
Yeah.
explain anymore. This is the boundary. Like, not just children, but individuals need to understand, when this is said, this is why we're doing them. My other question, or because from what you read, what we put up there, I didn't recall that they said what age their teenagers are. So,
Yeah.
I questioned, what does it mean to have a social life? Like, how old are they, and what does that look like? How old are they? We parent first. We're not friends. We're parents. And you're
Yeah.
going to have rules, and they need to learn about rules, and that there's time and a place for things, because when we are here to prepare them for the real world, there's consequences, there's, things that we have to follow. We may not like it when we work. We may like
Yeah.
our job, but there's aspects of our job we don't like, but we have to do it because it's our job. And
Yeah.
so as children, they have to learn about boundaries and, setting those. What does your week look like? What does their week look like? Is it just going out on weekends, or are we talking every day? There has to be some
Mm,
kind of boundaries for you
yeah,
and your family. So it's not saying, oh no,
absolutely.
they can't do it, but like,
Yeah,
how much are we asking? If this isn't every day, all the time, then you need to evaluate what's going on within the situation and why this
yeah.
need. And we can't be so worried about setting a healthy boundary that, oh, they're going to hate us. Yeah, trust me, at this age they're not going to be happy with all the decisions you make.
Absolutely.
And that's life.
Mm,
We can't be
that's
liked
okay.
all of the time,
Yeah, we don't
right?
have to. Yeah, true, true, true,
Right.
absolutely. And there's no where you there's even the argument with the moment an argument starts, it's like, no, I'm your parent, I'm not arguing. Go to your room, spend like 5 minutes when you're ready to speak in a calm manner. Please come out. Let's have a decent conversation. I think that's very important. So yeah, so thank you so much. I love that. I think I've had a number of key takeaways from that. Yeah, we should not be scared to set boundaries as parents. We should set those boundaries and we should enforce them. One day they'll thank us.
Right, and that's the key. You have to maintain consistency. You can't
Consistent.
say
Yeah,
yes this time and then no
yeah,
this time.
yeah,
You
yeah,
have to have consistency and establishing and setting those boundaries. If not,
yeah.
that might be part of the reason why you're having so much kickback from the children, is because there's
Mm,
not that consistency. And I
yeah.
understand, some days it's just crazy and busy and you're like, oh, it's just easier just to say yes because I'm over it and I'm done. I get
Mm,
that. But as the
mm,
adults in their life, even when it's kind of crappy like that, we
yeah.
have to still be strong and set that boundary and set those, because children will see what we're doing before they hear what we're saying.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, true, true. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much for that. So now we're moving on to my story, right? So
Mhm.
mine starts. I got pregnant when I was 19. I was joining campus. So, like, I was newly joined campus. I had, I have got freedom. Like my parents are very strict, so the moment I went to campus, I was like, oh my god, all this freedom, what do I do with it? And yeah, so I think that's the thing, also a theme that I think parents should be also be very wary of, is where you are very strict with your children to a point where they have no freedom and they are scared. And the moment they get that freedom, they don't know what to do with it. So that's also something else that we'll discuss down the line. So yeah, so I got pregnant at 19, and so obviously at that point you're like a teen mom. But I gave birth when I had turned 20. Yeah, that's when I gave birth. So yeah, now my son, as I said, is 13 years. An amazing kid. One of the things, there's an African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child, and that's something that I've actually been holding on to. I've had my the grandparents helping out in raising my son, his aunt helping out. So there is a lot of help that has come, in raising my son Aiden. And my story is just that, I was like, there are people who raised teenagers, so they know how that goes. And I'm doing that at this moment. I want to do the best I can. So, how can you do the best you can for your child? Just by reaching out to others and ask, so what are you doing about this? How are you doing it? Just find out, create, be in a community. And this is how we're starting. This is like a community of parents raising teenagers. So you can share notes and you're like, this is happening, what do I do? Like that question you just responded to. Yeah, we obviously don't have all the answers, but if you feel you feel like, oh, you have a different take, please feel free, share your comment. We're looking forward to that. So yeah, so that was the motivation, and that's my story. Thank you so much for watching so far. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is trending video. Now, this video, Kim has not seen it. Kim has not seen this video, so it's very fresh. I wanted to surprise her, so just just see her reaction. So let me share the screen.
Access to private education. Take 2 steps forward if you don't have any hesitation speaking your thoughts to your parents. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about paying your school fees. Take 2 steps forward if you had a passport before you were age 10. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to walk more than 30 minutes to school and back. Take 2 steps forward if you've never had to worry about your next meal. Turn around. That's what your dad does for you. That's what your daddy gives to you guys. Everything that he didn't have, he gave it to you. Happy Father's Day.
Oh,
I know.
oh goosebumps. Oh,
I was crying when I saw the video the first time. Yeah.
oh.
So
I mean, I feel that's what we as parents strive for, is to do better than what our parents did for us. And they did wonderful for whatever, they were able to do at that time. They did the best they could. And, now we can only hope that when our children grow up and have children, that they do better than what we did.
absolutely.
That's what I'm getting from that message. And the goosebumps. Oh,
Yeah. And the other thing I got from it was just the way, especially in a two-parent household, right? Like, showing your children what the other parent is doing for them is actually also a way of making you guys bond even more, stronger together. So you can imagine the kind of impact that has on the dad. It's this, my wife appreciates me, the mother of my children appreciates me, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do, to make her happy or make this family happy. So, and then brings them even much, closer together. So it's also important that that you're not alone, that there's
yeah.
someone else there. So you're not fighting battles alone. You're like, you're their cheerleader, they're your cheerleader, so you're cheering each other on. You started as two, right? Because the children
Yeah.
came after. Yeah, so you started as two people. So it's actually really important that is clear. So yeah, amazing
Yeah.
stuff, right?
That was a great video. Thank you for sharing that. That was oh,
You're welcome.
I really like that. It is
Yeah.
and again, to see the visual, because like I said before, children will see
Yeah.
what you're doing before they hear what you're doing. And that was a great video to even show that, and for them to realize, because our children may not realize because it's their normal, but then to take them out of that space for a minute to show, hey, this is what's going on. It's kind of an eye opener. Like, wow, I really didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Just kind of
absolutely.
take for granted those things that you have.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So yeah. So we've actually, I think the final thing we're going to do is share a parenting win. Is there a win that we've had? Is there a hack? Or is there a fail? And we're like, oh, I need to regroup with this one. So Kim, is there anything else you feel like you need to share? Personal thing that happened with your son or with your nephew, and you're like, yeah, this is something I need to share with you guys.
I'd say one of my proudest things, but we'll start there. Is that from an early age with my son, who was also 13, um, I started, and it was my mother-in-law, I must say, because I would pick up his toys when he was little, and she goes, "Why isn't he helping you?" And I was like, "He's too young." And she goes, "No, he's not." So I
Yeah.
started bringing him around with me, holding my hand, going, "Okay, let's pick up." And it was me picking up, but he held my hand. And the more we did this, I said, "Oh, help mommy pick up your toys." And it became a thing that we did together. And then just out of the blue, and this was at 2 years old, he started doing it himself.
Wow.
And so from that day on, he has always taken care of. I've never had to have a messy room because he took out and played with whatever he wanted. And
Yeah.
then he'd put it back if he was going to get something else. And that has stayed with him this whole time. And so I am so proud of him, even at this teenager stage, that he still carries on
Yeah. Love
those
that.
good habits.
Oh, I love that.
What about you?
Win. I think it's the my son loves football, so anything to do with football, I've actually used those moments to just, um, communicate with him, talk to him, find out what's going on. So I would not. I found out that when we are sitting at the dinner table, and I'm like, "So how was your week?" I'm like, "Fine." Like one word responses. So when I do that, when he's doing something he loves, like he's dribbling, or we go, he's carrying his ball, so I'm throwing the ball so he can dribble it. I know that when I ask questions, when he's at that particular moment, he speaks more than when things that he does that he doesn't even care about. But when it was that, when it's at those moments where he's doing something he likes, something exciting, something fun, and you bring in a conversation, he's likely to carry it. So that's a hack, myself. So find out what the child loves to do, and then use that opportunity, to dig deeper into what's going on in their mind, what's going on in their lives. So yeah, that's it for me.
I love that. That's a
Yeah.
great one, actually.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So now we finally finished our episode. Thank you so much if you watched until this part. And yeah. So Kim.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we're glad to have you. We're excited to see where this goes. We're glad to
Yeah.
hear and happy to hear about your comments, questions. And, thank you for watching this video. If you loved what you seen, like what you've seen, like it, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future episodes.
Absolutely. I love that. And if you have any comments, or any topics you feel like we should cover in the future, please put it in the comments section. Would love to hear from you. So thank you so much, and would love to see you next time. And yeah, see you in the next episode.